Chicago is known for its architecture. There's a variety of buildings and parks that tie the community together, but in other neighborhoods it's different. Today we don't see much activities and community programs that make the neighborhood more special. The communities are racially separated. Logan Square's rapid gentrification has changed and affected rent and price ranges that have caused many residents to move out to suburbs or closer neighborhoods. Many clothing stores have higher price ranges because of its gentrifying location, but there's low-income neighborhoods struggling with their higher-class people moving in and constructing new businesses and living spaces. Logan Square is now known for its diversity in restaurants. The neighborhood has a small community with libraries and local coffee shops, but behind the coffee shops, yoga classes, patios, and bars, there's hidden meaning and history with Logan Square. As you look around and get to discover Logan Square more, there's still a small community of Hispanics that stuck around and still own stores and some corners that are still trying to survive the rapid growth of gentrification. One particular spot in Logan Square that gave true meaning to its community is the Mega Mall.
It was located between the intersections of Milwaukee and California and Milwaukee and Sacramento.
Logan Square's rapid gentrification has changed and affected rent and price ranges that have caused many residents to move to the suburbs or closer neighborhoods.
Positive community because it would employ a lot of the kids in the neighborhood. A lot of the kids from Clemente that were pretty much up to no good found their jobs at the Mega Mall. And it also branched out to a lot of the neighborhood businesses, especially around Milwaukee. Yeah, you didn't feel like you were much in danger unless you were by the Eagle, where all the drunks used to hang out. Everyone saw that a lot of white people were moving in, but everyone just thought, give them a couple months, they'll leave. They don't know what they're in for with the neighborhood since everyone kind of knew each other, but they never left. And there's like plans for development. No one really thought it would affect anyone. I feel like it's displacing a lot of people that need also housing, especially older folk that necessarily have been living in the same places forever, so they don't know of any other places, and now they're getting kicked out to make condos.
Pilsen is a historical neighborhood in Chicago. It has a lot of Mexican culture and has a great community. In my experience of Pilsen, I feel like I'm home, or especially my mom's kitchen. The street art speaks a lot of the everyday struggle of immigrants and how much they sacrifice to be in America. As Pilsen continues to grow, it has attracted different groups of race and new businesses, but unexpectedly, condos and coffee shops have been appearing. Quickly, there is now vintage shops, bars, art exhibits, and wine tasting stores.
In my opinion, it has definitely changed a lot. I mean, everything about it is different. It's not the same neighborhood that I grew up in. You know, I'm born and raised in Pilsen, so it's easy for me to notice it, but it's hard for me to explain because I'm just so accustomed to the way things were before, you know. I went from growing up in a neighborhood that was basically strictly all family. I mean, the area that I was in had a lot of my own family members or people from our hometown in Mexico. You could walk a distance of like a mile and there was still people from the same part of Mexico that your family was from. If not, they somehow knew each other, but it was all connected. You never had to worry. I mean, you were 8 years old, 9 years old, and you were able to walk 5, maybe 10 blocks by yourself and not have to worry about, you know, something happening to you, because everywhere you walked, you were always like, oh, look, there's my dad's friend, there's my mom's friend, you know, there's her comadre, there's, you know, it was always somebody. So it was a safe and warm environment, you know. Now you walk down the streets and you have people that look at you or avoid eye contact, or, you know, it's a condescending thing, you know. So sometimes the best thing you could do is just kind of walk and look at your shoes as you walk. And at the same time, I walk and look at my shoes because I don't want to see what else has changed in my area. You know, so it's kind of rough. When I grew up, I had it rough. You know, I had nothing but gang members around me. I was in that lifestyle at some point in time, and it's not by choice. It was because it was forced. That's all you had. That's all you knew. You know, so even like now that I'm grown and I have a lot of friends that live in the suburbs, going out to the suburbs, it's like a big difference because I'm not used to that. And I understand how people can say like the lifestyle kind of gets to you, but it's one of those weird things that you're happy that that's gone because you don't see that many gang members. You just see the kids that are like led on by the older people that didn't stray away from that path. But then you got your areas that don't have anything, and it's just good because now you can actually walk safely, no worries. What would I want it to look like? I would want it to look like the Pilsen that I was born and raised in, without the bad parts as far as like the gangs. Um, I mean, if people come into the neighborhood and they're just amicable, I think that would be better. I'm just so used to the home style that we were raised into, which is greet everybody, say hi to everybody, say good morning, good afternoon, your typical buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. I do remember the first time that I saw people that were not Hispanic in the neighborhood, and my first thought being, what the hell? I will say that much. After that point, it was just kind of like, hey, cool, they're in the neighborhood, and the thing was that the first people that moved into the neighborhood that were not Hispanic or Latino, they were really open to like the whole like, dude, we're all just people, like, hey, I may not be your culture, but I want to learn about soccer. They were like so open to the idea. It was actually pretty cool. My final thought would be, if I could ever talk to anybody who was to come into the neighborhood, the only thing that I would say to them is stop being afraid. Come in with an open heart and an open mind. Because the same way that they feel about coming into the neighborhood being scared and fearful, a lot of the residents that are there are scared and fearful. Number one, because of displacement. Number two, because of they don't know what their reaction is. Because sometimes you feel that the way that they look can be condescending, or it frowns upon different things, or it just makes everybody uncomfortable.
Gentrification does harm our neighborhoods. It increases the prices not only in stores, but in housings as well. Lower income families are having to move out because they can no longer afford rent. Gentrification builds walls in our society and causes protests to bring our old and historical buildings and stores back. Pilsen is proud of their murals and communities that they have built together until the wealthy have built over the grounds of proud immigrants and made a new modern atmosphere. Support smaller businesses that have a cultural background and have dealt with the gentrification. Many families have struggled and able to maintain their businesses. Giving more income to a new gentrifying store is increasing the prices of modern businesses and expanding the move of gentrification. Help local business.